thinking is my teeth are not gonna last. Like they're gonna fall apart by then, and I was right. So hi guys, and welcome to my channel. So this is gonna be my first story time video, and this story time is going to be all about my braces. So if you can tell by the caption, I have the most ugliest braces in the world. I have 4 brackets on my teeth right now. I had braces since December of 2015, and so it's been a little bit over a year on this journey to straight perfect teeth. And so I just have to come share this story with you guys, because hopefully in a few weeks I'll have them all for good. This is my second time having braces on, because the first time I had them on, they were taken off and my gap came back. And so if you guys want to hear this story, then just keep on watching this video. Okay, so about some odd years ago, when I was a young girl, I decided that I hated my teeth, and it was something that I just dealt with, and I really could not get over. Even through high school and through college, I hated my teeth, and I would vow to get my teeth fixed. Like, I remember putting gum in between my teeth. Like, I had a gap. I remember putting gum in between my teeth and like seeing how it would look if I had straight teeth. It was just something that I really could not stand. It did something to my confidence. I saw my confidence like change when I finally was able to get braces, because I really did not like my smile. And I'm only saying that to like not encourage you to not like yours, but to say if there's something that you battle with, like I am all for love yourself, love who you are, love who God created you to be, you know. But I also know that some people's family is able to afford them braces. People get braces in the 5th grade, you know, in the 6th grade, and they wear them for years to have a perfect smile. My family wasn't able to do that for me, and I was okay with that, you know. But I wasn't, because it was this thing that was burning inside of me that I really just wanted to fix about myself. So I finally got the chance to get braces as an adult. I ended up getting my braces done by a dentist, not an orthodontist, and I think that might make a difference. So if you are thinking about getting braces, make sure that you understand like the difference between going to a dentist and going to an orthodontist, because the orthodontist is going to have more materials and things for you at the dentist, at their office, as opposed to a dentist who sometimes may have to like contract out or like go somewhere else to get certain things done. So for me, I found a dentist through a friend, so I was okay with going to him because I saw somebody who was going there. I got an estimate. The price was okay compared to Invisalign. I had gotten pricing for Invisalign, which was like over $5,000, and this was under $2,000. So for me, spending $2,000 to get braces as opposed to $5,000 for the Invisalign was worth it for me. So he quotes me the price for the braces, but he says before we do the braces, we need to get your wisdom teeth out. So it was like basically a 2-month time period from when I had my consultation and when I got my braces, because I had to schedule my wisdom teeth, had to wait for them to heal, and then here comes my braces appointment. My wisdom teeth. Okay, he said we can pull your wisdom teeth. You don't need to go to a surgeon and have your wisdom teeth removed. We can do that here. I was like, okay, cool. So I go get my wisdom teeth pulled, and it was the worst experience ever. If you're wanting to get your wisdom teeth pulled, go get put to sleep, get all the drugs, all the medicine, whatever it is that they're going to give you, and have it done that way, because this was the worst. Like, that was the start of my crazy braces experience. So my wisdom teeth were pulled while I was awake. They just put a little bit of numbing gel on my teeth. For a while I couldn't feel it, but he had like pulled them and he kind of like snatched them out. Like literally he like was pulling, like, you know, pulling the tooth. But he put some stuff to numb my teeth. I don't know what this is called, but put it on my teeth and it kind of works. But then he got to this tooth down here, and it was, I guess, a little deep in my gums or something, and he couldn't get to it. So he was gnawing, like he took like a saw and he's like sawing down on my teeth and trying to get that tooth to come up. So eventually, I think it was like 20 minutes into this whole situation, and I started to feel it. Like I could feel it, and I'm like, I feel what's happening. Not only can I feel it, I hear it, and I'm hearing my teeth like it was grinding. And teeth grinding is already annoying, but when it's your teeth in the middle of a procedure, it was traumatic. So he ends up going and trying to pull it out, and I was like, stop. It was crazy. It was like a movie where you see somebody having something done and they wake up, except I was woke the whole time. After you go through the surgery, I think you have to get medicine anyways, because you're going to be in pain. But I had like hydrocodone. I needed to get like 2 refills because I was in so much pain for so long. All I did was like take drugs and sleep for like a week straight. That was the start of my braces experience. So once I finally healed from that, I went in and got my checkup to see how my wisdom teeth were doing. Everything was okay. I was scheduled to do my braces, you know, get a fitting, I guess if you will, for it, where they fit your teeth and they see what your teeth look like, and then he give you a recommendation of like how long it's gonna take. I started December of 2015. So I had my braces in for about 9 months, which was my time frame was about 6 to 9 months. I only had the top row. I've always only had the top row, and I never had the bottom bracket. So my teeth closed in about 3 months, which I was walking around here smiling and cheesing and in love with myself, because when you have like such low self-esteem or confidence issues with your teeth or with any physical appearance, and you change it, like losing weight, and now you want to be naked all the time, or you want to be in a bikini all the time. For me, getting my braces, having my teeth closed, I wanted to be smiling all the time, and I was. So my gap closed in about 3 months, but we still needed to shift some things. Like you'll see when you go get braces, or if you've had braces, like just because it looks like they're straight, there's always something, like maybe one tooth is higher than the other, or there's a space that you can't see. And so there were just different things that I needed to have, you know, bringing everything together. Fast forward to about this summer, I was going through a lot of health issues where I was breaking out like crazy, and turns out I had all these allergies that I never knew I had, and I found out I'm pretty much allergic to a lot of stuff, a lot of things. My body is just like, we're not doing that. I ended up breaking out in hives, and my lip was swollen, and I didn't know if it was the food that I was eating or the metal that was in my mouth, because in this time frame of me trying to understand what was happening, I had only evaluate like what has changed in my life. And my braces was just one of those things that had changed in the last like 6 to 8 months. So I go, and at this point I'm just trying to investigate everything, and I go back to my dentist and I say, okay, if the only thing that's stopping us from taking these braces off is one of my teeth, like one of the tooth were like higher than the other, but it wasn't like very noticeable. It was like if I tilted my head up, you could see that the tooth was higher than the other one. So I was like, if that's it, and I was due from 6 to 9 months, if we're good with that, then I'm good with that. So he said, okay, you trust your instinct, let's take them off. So he takes my braces off. It was crazy. Like, getting your braces off after having them on, I don't care how long you had them on, is an amazing experience. I was licking my teeth because it's a little slimy from like the bracket glue or whatever it is that they use. So it's a little slimy. Then you're just constantly looking in the mirror. You're constantly smiling because it feels so good. Like, it was an amazing experience. While I'm in the dentist's office, after they take them off, he goes, he sees another patient. So his assistant is like finishing me up. She's like, do we need to get her mold? And he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay, so what, are you guys gonna give me a retainer or what? She's like, oh, that's what the mold is gonna be. It was starting to feel like a rushed thing, or like they had a lot to do and I was kind of like inconveniencing them or something. So I put this gummy stuff that almost like choked me in my mouth, where basically it goes in your mouth, you get a mold of your teeth, and it literally, like, I felt like they were choking me. Like, it was so far in the back of my throat. So I put that in my mouth, I get the mold, and she's like, okay, we're going to set your next appointment for 30 days from now, which was usual, and when you come in, we're just going to check on it, things, and by then your retainer should be in. So I'm like, wait, so for 30 days I'm not going to have a retainer? She's like, yeah, you should be fine. I'm like, are you sure? Now mind you, I'm at the dentist's office, so I'm not talking to random people on the street. I'm talking to people who, you know, they're in this industry. At least, like, if you're a tech or an assistant here, I would assume that you experienced this. She was new since I started, so maybe, I don't know where she worked before, but she's like, yeah, you should be fine. So I'm like, bruh, for 30 days. She's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, you know, like, I had no other options because they didn't have a retainer for me that day. The next morning I wake up and I'm smiling and I'm licking my teeth and I'm just looking around, and I noticed like a little slit, and I'm like, no, I don't think that's a slit. So I'm just like, that is a slit. Like, my gap looks like it's coming back. This is like 24 hours later. So I noticed a slit, but I didn't say anything because they told me, just to be clear, you may see a shift in your teeth because this is new and you should be fine. So I'm like, okay, I didn't know a shift would be immediately, like the next day. They don't see patients on Friday, so I couldn't go in the office anyways. So come Saturday morning, at this point I have like a full-blown gap. Like, It's not as big as my gap was, but it was a gap. So I'm panicking, like I was crying. Only because if you've experienced like self-esteem issues, confidence issues, like I said, it is traumatic to build yourself up and then have something which is like, so like some people would say cliche, but when it's like your self-esteem and your confidence and it reminds you of how you felt, it was crazy. It was so crazy the way that I felt. Like I cried. So I'm like, okay girl, suck it up. Like it's okay. You're gonna be able to get your retainer, and when you do, you'll be okay. I'm trying not to worry. So Monday comes, I call my dentist and I'm like, hey, it's Ashley. Just to let you know, my gap is back. And he's like,
okay, that's normal, but we'll go ahead and make sure we send over your mold to the ortho office.
So I kind of paused because I was like, first of all, you should have did this Thursday, but I don't like to tell people how to do their job. But you should have did this Thursday. Not only should you have done it Thursday, but why did I have to remind you as if this was something that you weren't going to do today? So I'm trying not to panic, but I'm like, now he knows. Because typically his assistants answered the phone. But I called at like 8:01. Like his office opens at 8. I was up early Monday morning because I was in such a panic over the weekend. I needed to talk to him. So he answers the phone. I'm like, great. He knows. He's like, if we don't see it by Thursday, then we'll have to wait next Monday. Wednesdays and Fridays, they don't see patients. So the chances of me getting it will be it coming in on Thursday or next Monday, which means that I will be waiting a week and 3 days. And all I'm thinking is my teeth are not gonna last. Like they're gonna fall apart by then. And I was right. Tuesday comes, my gap is back. Like the gap that I had, the gap that I was running from was looking at me in the mirror, and I was looking back at it like, you're not welcomed here at all. I was just so frantic. So I called back. This time I'm like, hey, I need that retainer. This gap it felt like a severe something. Like it was just anxiety and sadness because I'm thinking I just spent all this money on my braces. I just spent all this time and I felt so good, and now I feel like I'm back at square one. So I'm telling her, and I'm trying not to cry, but she could probably hear my voice cracking. I'm like, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but my gap is back and I was hurting. So she's like, okay, understand, but trust me, your gap is gonna close as soon as we get your retainer in. And I said, okay, I have no reason not to trust you besides the fact that you told me I could wait 30 days. But I trust you because that's just the kind of person that I am. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. So Wednesday comes, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm not calling there again because I don't want to be that person, because I don't want to be like a complainer. You know, I just don't want to do that. But I'm like, this is my appearance. Like, this is how I look. Like, this is what I want or what I needed. So I'm patiently waiting. I didn't call back on Wednesday. She calls me at about 12 o'clock. She's like, hey, we got your retainer in. Do you want to come pick it? I hung up the phone. I'm like, girl, you didn't have to tell me, ask me, did I want to come? I was on my way. I got to their office in about 8.5 minutes. I'm not kidding. I left. I probably flew. There was probably some dust behind me. I ran to my car and then drove to their office. I was in such a rush to get there because I'm like, any minute now, the whole thing is over. Like, I felt like a ticking time bomb. Like, any minute, my whole thing is just gonna fall right back to where it was. So I get to the office. Now, because I was having these allergy issues, I needed a plastic retainer. I'm so excited to see this retainer. I lift it up because it felt like a great piece of joy and happiness and peace in this piece of plastic. So I lift it up. I saw halos around it. It was perfect. I grab it, put it in my mouth, and actually my dentist put it in my mouth. I'm being kind of dramatic, but anyways, it gets put in my mouth and it was tight, which was an amazing feeling for me. The dentist was explaining to me, it's tight, it's gonna be tight, it's gonna hurt, which it did. It's gonna hurt because your teeth are trying to shift back into place. It's normal, it's okay. So that did happen. My teeth started to shift and I could see every single day. I'm looking at myself like I'm looking now. I looked at myself and I said, girl, I see it. It's closing up. No more gap. And it was closing, 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 closing. And then it got to the point where it was just like, we're just not going to close anymore. A day goes by and I'm like, okay, well, it's closing, but it's not closed all the way. So I didn't call because, again, I'm trying not to be that girl. The weekend goes by. I call him on Monday. I say, hey, it's Ashley again. I know you just got in the office because it's like 8:02, but I've been waiting a few days to let you know that my Gap has not closed. You said that it would take 2 to 3 days for it to close back up, and it hasn't closed. At that point, he was like, come back into the office again. Run. I run there because I need to do this as soon as possible. I need these teeth to be straight, or something needs to happen. I need something to happen. So I go in, and the same saw that he used to grind my teeth when I was having my wisdom teeth removed is the same saw he used to like saw off a piece where my like gums were on the retainer. And he's like, that should allow him to shift. It's picking up, you know, your gum, and so that should allow it to shift, because some people, when they get their braces done or ortho services, their gums are like burnt off or something. So if you have a gap, I have a gap, and there's like this big piece of gum that sticks in the middle. So that piece from my mold was on my plastic, like on my plastic retainer, so it was hard for my teeth to just completely close and shift. So anyways, he's like, that should work. If it doesn't work, give me a call in about a few days. I think he had to tell me like, give it a day or two, like give it some time, because he knows that I'm probably gonna panic. So I give it a few days. Here we go. It looks perfect, and all of a sudden I just keep looking, and there's just this slit, like that slit from day one never left. It was just there looking me in the face. I'm looking at it, and again, one of us are not welcome here. So I called the dentist back, and he's like, okay, bring in the retainer, come back in, let's see how this works. He goes again, saws it off, puts it back in my mouth. So at this point, we're talking about 3 weeks of 1 week without having a retainer, and 2 weeks with the retainer on and my mouth, like my gap's still there. Not even the whole gap, you know, just a piece of it. But I was wearing this nasty plastic retainer every day. So he tells me, this is not for you to sleep in. You need to wear this every day because you go on without the, you know, retainer for said days. I'm walking around talking in meetings. Anywhere that I went, I had this nasty plastic retainer in my mouth, and it started to turn like an ugly color. It just wasn't cute. I do recommend the plastic retainer. I don't know what I recommend because I'm not a dentist, but I liked it. But I didn't like to wear it every single day. But it was something that if I wanted to go out, like let's say I forgot to wear my retainer the night before, and you want to wear the plastic retainer, you can't see it. Like it really did. It blended in with my teeth. Unless somebody's all up in your grill, like trying to talk to you, you know, then they can see like it looks a little fuzzy. And at this point, it's been like 3 weeks. It's going on a month. So he's like, give it 1 more week. We're trying to shift it. He's, you know, like basically like pushing the retainer together, like manipulating the retainer, trying to see how he could shift it around, because if you have a metal retainer, there's a way that he could like crank it and make your teeth shift. But because I had the plastic one, he couldn't manipulate it as much as he could with the metal one. I was like, okay, let's let this thing work. Then eventually I go into the office. He's like, okay, well, we're going to do this. And I was like, okay, look, this is what's not going to happen. I'm not going to keep wearing this plastic retainer. Something needs to happen soon, because I've already paid you X amount of dollars, and my teeth, my gap is here. It's here. And I waited 7 days for a retainer when I shouldn't have, because I went online, WebMD, and they told me that I should have had it either the same day or within 3 days. I waited 7 days for my retainer. That's not okay. So he's like, okay, we're going to put the braces on, but we're only going to put 2 on. I was like, no, because I would look like a bunny rabbit or something of that nature walking around with 2 braces on. So instead of putting 2, he puts 4 on. I still look extremely crazy, but it was only supposed to be for a week. Actually, it was 2 weeks. So I go back in 2 weeks. My gap had kind of shifted, but my teeth were just doing their own thing. Like the gap would close, but these other teeth would, like, there would be a gap there. So we had to go back another 2 weeks or another 3 weeks. So at this point, my teeth started to come out. Like, you know, like buck teeth. Like my teeth were like coming out. Like if I lifted my head up, you could see all up in my mouth because my teeth were shifting. He basically like pushed it back, and now I have a week and a few days. I'm gonna go back and he's gonna see what's up with these teeth. But that's pretty much where I am and what happened. So now I'm just walking around with 4 beautiful brackets on my teeth, and it looks kind of, it doesn't look as crazy because I'm growing with it, but I don't know how people who don't know me, which I really don't care, if people like look and they notice like she doesn't have a full mouth of braces, it's kind of awkward. But I really really don't care. I know that I'm gonna have beautiful teeth, so I'm willing to do what I gotta do to get beautiful teeth. So it's kind of weird, but I'm okay with it. It's all gonna work out for me so that I can have a beautiful smile here soon, and I can't wait to give you guys an update and let you know that it all worked out. My teeth are perfectly straight and I'm good, but for right now I'm walking around like a half brace face, like a fourth of a brace face. But anyways, that's my braces story. If you guys like this story, then please give this video a thumbs up. Please comment below any other videos you'd like me to do or any other story times. I do like story times. I have a lot of stories to share with you guys. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please, let's be friends. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time guys, I'll talk to you later.